Previously on Dicemension.
You're able to see sat around some tables are like 7 guards who appear to be sleeping.
Do you think one of the guards might have done something to all of you? Either you just all fell asleep at the same time during a battle, or one of you is a traitor. Just might want to think about that. Boom.
You're able to see that one of the guards is trying to shake awake Rolandis' fiance, and she's not waking up. She's dead!
So,
King's like,
Your Majesty, I'm deeply sorry about this.
yes, she probably would have made a very good wife of convenience.
Wife of convenience, Your Majesty? Not a love of passion?
No, I mean...
So is there anyone left who could take you back?
No. And Revel's like, stand for roll call, and the and all of the guards kind of stand, and they say, because they're going from left to right. Rodan, Vano, Betts, Gref, Didrir, Fijim, and Rild. And then she says, which one of you 3 would like to interrogate this one with me?
I'm gonna go with it.
Yes.
Okay. And she says to you 2, Talissa, Marv, if any of them even think about moving apart from scratching their asses, I give you full permission to kill them on spot.
Oh, great!
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, so she kind of marches, Rodan kind of grabs his arm and kind of starts walking him into like the back room through the kitchen of the chef, like chopping up, flipping things. Like Rebel's like through to kind of this back room. This back room is icy cold. This is where they keep like all of their meats, and it seems like there's some sort of like ice magic kind of going on here because it's eerily cold in comparison to the rest. She sits Rodan down and she says, Ogorog, can you strip him, please?
I don't really want to strip him myself, but I can slap him in the face until he strips himself down. What do you reckon? We can force him to do so.
We can try.
Yeah.
Okay, roll intimidation.
So you are now gonna take everything off, and you are gonna show us what you're on, what you're wearing, and what you have down there.
Mm-hmm. What you have down there?
What are you
What are you
packing?
packing?
That is a 24.
Okay. He's like, okay, and he kind of like,
Quickly!
takes off like his leather armor to show like arms and kind of torso covered in like scars and cuts, basically from obviously like a lifelong battling. And he's kind of got some chest hair. So he's sat there like trying to cover himself like this.
Okay. So what do you remember of this afternoon?
Well, I
Stop shaking like a pussy.
I will tell you what you need to know, but I'm really cold.
Quick.
Okay, so he's like, well, I remember I was asked to come here to guard the king, and I was guarding the manhole to the basement, and I was given drinks by, I believe, Gref and Didrir were handing me carafes of wine to take downstairs, so I was taking them downstairs and then coming back up to the manhole, and then a couple of hours later they'd asked me to go back down and give them more wine, and then I think it was
Were they
Gref
both
and...
the only ones that handed you wine?
No, I think the second time Gref and Fijim handed me wine.
Okay, I look at Rebel and I'm like, what do you know about the Gref? Is he a normal guy?
Yeah, I mean, he was the one that found her dead.
How long has he been serving you? Or rather the town?
Well, I've known him since he was pretty young. I mean, you know, he's still quite a young lad. I mean, he's only about 13, 14. I think I've known him for, well, since he was small.
Would you trust him?
Yeah.
Right. What else do you remember? And I turn back to the guard.
He says, well, then they decided that they wanted to have a nap and felt it was strange that we were there watching them sleep. So Vano asked us to come back upstairs and to guard the front door, and I was still stood by the manhole.
Okay. How did the wine taste? Do you remember anything weird with what you drank?
I mean, wine in this region isn't particularly nice tasting anyway, but I wouldn't say it was anything different.
Okay.
And then Revel kind of stands in and says, "So, why were you not at the manhole then when everyone came into the bar?" He was like, "I honestly don't know."
Can I see or anything weirded out, or is he genuine? Does he genuinely not know?
Roll insight.
Natural 20.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, he genuinely looks like he has no idea why he was sat in that chair.
Okay. So somebody put you in that chair, or you ended up on that chair randomly. Do you reckon it's normal?
Someone must have put me on the chair.
Why would anybody put you on a chair? Why would you think that?
Because I was the one guarding the manhole. And then if I was guarding the manhole, then they would want me out of the way.
So you're saying that probably some of your guard friends or somebody else went down that manhole and killed her.
Yes, I suppose so, yes.
Okay. If you had to point a finger towards anybody, who would you choose? Assuming it's somebody of your friends.
I mean, I've never really liked Fidjim. He always seemed strange, and he wanted them to have a second round of wine. Well, I was only going to give them one, and then he asked to give them a second.
And I turned to Revel and like, what do you know about this Fidjim? Who is he?
Yeah, he's always been a bit of a brute.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't think that the wine thing is particularly suspicious. I mean, he is a big drinker. Maybe he wanted to get them drunk, but I don't know. Why you would want to get everybody drunk anyway when you're on guard duty, I'm not so sure. So maybe we need to see what's going on.
Okay.
Then she kind of bows down to Rodin and is like, "You understand that our way of being with you is, you know, no hard feelings, right?" And she kind of like gives him a tap on the shoulder, and he kind of seems a little bit upset about kind of this general situation, being naked in a freezer. And Rodin's like, "Yes, I understand. I am the only elf in this area, and it will always be me that gets, you know, hated on the most. So I take it on the chin. It's fine."
Don't you worry. I'm gonna treat everybody else in the same way. It's not about race. It's about making sure.
Oh no, I understand that you're a man of honor and you need to do your thing. You know, I just knew that everybody would suspect me before anybody else. And then he kind of puts on his, you know, his armors again and kind of seems like a little bit quiet now, and kind of walks back out to the bar and sits back down in silence. And Revel's like, then stomps back out like really angry again. So you can sort of tell from this point that maybe she might be kind of putting on the angry act to kind of make them afraid. She doesn't really seem to be that angry.
Okay.
So she's like, "Thank you, Ogorog. I'll get you to sit the next one out. I'll ask someone else."
But if anything, I would suggest you to bring in that Fidjim and Gref. They both seem weirded out.
Okay. Well, I'll get Fidjim in first.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she kind of walks out and she's like, "Fidjim, come on. Marv, come with me."
Righty-ho. Here I come.
Okay.
Yeah, torture. This isn't what I signed up for.
So
And I
as-
go sitting by the king because I had only like little interaction with him. I just saw him running out.
Mhm.
So yeah. I
So you're
just-
gonna go sit by the king?
Yeah, and steal some of his food.
Okay, sure.
Try. I mean, he doesn't seem to be that smart. So.
Yeah.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, he doesn't sort of seem to care. He sort of seems to be like, oh no, try it with this vegetable.
All right.
Yeah. So as you
He's a cool king.
as you're walking through the kitchen, you have this beautiful smell of like this creamy mushroom soup that just seems to be emanating, and Revel just puts a hand over Fidjim's face and is like, "You will not be smelling that."
Bad news, bad.
Puts him into cold room. So could you do a Constitution saving throw, please?
9.
Okay, so you're quite cold. You didn't need to do this because you're
Oh.
much larger, so it wouldn't have affected you as much. But for him being quite slender, he's like, "Oh, you're a bit." She's like, "Right, we're gonna. Can you strip him, please, Marv?
Sorry?
Can you strip Fidjim, please?"
And I just turn to him and I just say, would you mind stripping? It would make everybody's lives a lot easier.
Can you roll persuasion, please?
Yeah. 17.
Yes, I mean, Revel, if you wanted to see my abs, you could have just asked. And Revel's kind of like,
Oh.
he's kind of like undoing all of his like leathers and all that sort of stuff, and drops all of his clothes to the floor and isn't trying to hide himself. He's just like stood quite loudly and proudly naked in this
Oh,
freezer.
Glad he's having fun.
It's like, yeah, so what's this about then, Revel? I heard someone's done something weird. And Revel's like, yes, Fidjim, we want to know what happened. And Fidjim's like, well, yeah, we were just doing our bit, doing our guarding. I was near the front door, trying to make sure that no one came in, and I was there with Bets. Me and Bets were always together and stuff. And they were having some wine down there, and then we had a little break. I got asked if I wanted some wine, and I'm like, yeah, I'll have some wine. And I thought, well, why don't the people downstairs might want a bit more wine? So I filled up a carafe, 2 carafes for the downstairs lot. And yeah, we just had a nice old drink. But I was a bit sleepy, and I just fell asleep in my chair. I did.
So you were the one that gave out the second round of wine to everyone.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Well, I gave it to the elfin dude, Rodin or whatever his name is, to go take downstairs to the rest of the guys. Yeah.
So you prepared the batch, but you didn't deliver it to the guards.
Yeah.
So where did the wine originate from?
Rild was the one who was pouring out. No, I poured out the wine. No, hang on.
You seem very confused. Take a breath. It's very important you get this right.
Can you roll intimidation, please?
So scary.
It's only 13.
Yeah, all right. Don't worry. Nah, it wasn't Rild, was it? It was Didri. Didri was the one who was
Didgeridoo.
pouring out the wines for me, and then I kind of went under the barrels for the 2 carafes, and then took them downstairs. So Didri did our wines, but I did the wines for downstairs.
So Didger was the first person to touch the wine.
Where he touched the barrel, yeah.
Okay. Right. I think that's something we can look into, Rebel.
Okay, it's like. Well, what about Griff? And Fidjim's like, what about Griff? What are you talking about? It's like, well, he was said to have taken stuff downstairs, as well. And she said, oh, I didn't see Griff take anything downstairs. I mean, he might have done the first time, but he certainly didn't do it the second time. I handed it to the elfin dude, and the elfin dude took it down to the bottom of the stairs, and that was that.
So what was the name of the elf who took it downstairs the second time?
Rodan.
Rodan. And he's not one of your guards.
Yeah, he's one of our guards.
He's one of the
Yeah.
guards. Okay. Okay. Should we speak to him next, Revel?
And it's like, we just spoke to him.
Oh, that's who you spoke to with Ogrog. Okay. I was too busy not being in that interrogation.
I was too busy just, twirling my thumbs.
Twirling the thumbs.
Pigeon's like, honestly, I'm gonna level with you. I'm a little bit annoyed that I'm down here, facing this interrogation, and Revel's like, we have to do it with everyone. It's what we. Yeah, but you know me, Revel. You know me. You know I never do anything like that. And she leans in and she's like, well, it's not the first time that you've given wine to civilians now, is it? And he's like, yeah, all right, fair play. Yeah, I knew something like this might get brought up, but it's nothing like that. I'm a changed man. I don't do things like that anymore.
Does that seem genuine to me?
Roll insight.
Oh, only 8.
Yeah, it kind of seems like when he's saying that, he seems a bit shady when he's saying that.
That he's a changed man.
Yeah.
Do you believe him, Revel?
Now listen here, you. I have... You know what I've done? I have made sure that things like this would never happen again, and I've trusted you to not be strange with some of the younger women. And I understand that there were lots of younger women in that basement, that it would be much, much better if you just came clean and said anything you did. And Fidgeum's like, all right, and actually now holds on to himself.
Oh, not so proud of that package now, are you?
All right, I'll admit that there were some very attractive-looking ladies in the basement today, including that woman with the red hair. We don't get red-haired women around here very much, and she was very attractive. And I thought, let's just all have a good time. Yeah, we'll have some drinks, and you never know what happens. And Revel's like, you little, and then punches him straight in the face.
Ooh. Right in the kisser.
And he takes 5 hit points, and he's proper bloodied in the nose. And she's like, I cannot have people I cannot trust on my local guard. The mayor gives me the opportunity to hire younger people. You get a decent wage. Why are you doing things like this still? And Fidgeum's kind of like walking back a little bit now, kind of like one hand down here, one hand like on his nose. Like, I can't help it. Like, women are my weakness. I can't help. Marv, get him out of here before I do something I regret.
Yeah, right away. And I just say, this way, please.
And he doesn't put his clothes back on.
He doesn't. He just walks out without his clothes.
Yes.
Okay, I kind of bundle up the clothes and carry them up after him.
Okay, so he goes to sit back down naked, but you bundle all the clothes in his lap, and everybody else is kind of looking around like...
We didn't do anything.
They're all looking like much more nervous now.
Yeah.
Okay, Marv, it's your choice as to who gets sent in next.
Gref.
Gref, okay.
Talissa, do you want to step up?
Let's go.
I'm going to sit and have a beer.
Gref's kind of like looking kind of a bit sheepish, like he doesn't really like this situation, and so he kind of like walks through, and Revel's there like, Gref, yes, come sit down. And she's like, Gref, can you explain what happened, please? And he's like, I'm not gonna have to get naked, am I? And she's like, no, Gref, don't worry, I'm not gonna. I know you've got your thing. I'm not gonna. You're fine. And he's like, thank you, not in front of the lady, please. Gref, you can level with us. Tell us everything you saw, everything that you did. And he's like, yes, okay. So I was sat down on one of the tables near to the chef's place, and I had to make sure that no one came through the back way. So I was sat there facing the chef's place and the front door. And I remember seeing, who was it? I always get them confused. What are the two ladies' names? And she's like, well, you got Bets and you got Vano. And she's like, yes, Bets was with Fijim by the front door. And then I remember seeing Rodan near the entrance to the manhole. And then Vano was kind of opposite me, making sure that to be looking at Rodan, because I know they don't get on. And Revel's like, yeah, take a breath, slow down. You're not in trouble. Don't worry. And he's like, I know, but someone's dead, and I don't like that. That's not nice. I don't like that. And then Rield was downstairs with Didria, I think, was downstairs with them, and that's all I know. He's kind of just sat there, kind of quiet, and it's like, okay. So, what can you run us through what happened? And Gref is like, yeah. I didn't move from my spot. I sat there the entire time. And I didn't even go to the bathroom. I didn't even do anything. I swear, Revel, I didn't do anything wrong. And and she's like, okay, I know. And he starts crying at this point.
You're in trouble.
And she's like, it's okay, Graf, you're gonna be fine. We're not against you. You haven't done anything wrong. We just want to make sure that we get all of the information that we can. And he's like, yeah, well, I didn't really see anything. I mean, they were kind of handing out wines, and I was like, no, I don't want any wine. I need to focus. I need to make sure everything's okay. And then someone came over with a glass of water instead, and I drank the water, and then I felt a bit sleepy. And
Who was that person?
It was one of the women. I always get them confused.
Do they have different color for the hair, or do they look the same? What? That I don't know, any specific?
I'm
reason?
colourblind.
Oh.
I don't know. They both have dark hair, so I don't know who it was.
Are they wearing the same things?
Well, yeah, we all you notice they're all wearing the same sorts of armours.
Yeah.
And he's like, can I go now? I don't like. It's really cold in here. And she's like, yeah, get him something from the kitchen on the way out.
And I mean, you can go, but I wanted to speak to you. Is there any way I can reach downstairs without passing for the kitchen?
No, unfortunately not. No, there's only one way in or out.
Okay. So, I guess we can go back and see your beautiful guards, your two beautiful guards, which look exactly the same, and we don't know which one is which one, but you know, it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's go back.
Okay. Okay, so Gref goes to sit back in his chair and he's rocking back and forth. Poor thing. He's really trying to keep it together. He doesn't want to cry or make a scene in front of like all of his brothers and sisters, but like you can see he's kind of just a bit like, you know, not very happy. So it's your choice as to who is interviewed next.
So there's one guy left and the two girls, right?
Well, so who have we
Two
seen?
guys, two girls.
Two guys.
So
two
you
girls.
saw Rodan first,
So we saw Rodan, who is the elf.
and then you saw Fijim.
Fijim is human.
Yep.
And then Graf was also human.
And yes.
Oh, and they were all males.
They were all males, yes.
What's the name? The other two guys. There's one with a D, right?
So the two guys are called Didria and Rild,
Yeah, let's go
and
with
the
Didril.
two girls are Bets and Vano.
Let's go with Didril.
Okay.
And
Okay.
chomping with the king. We're getting along with each other.
So Olgarol, you're needed though.
I'm gonna leave you, but yeah, keep something warm for me, right?
Okay.
I feel
So
like
your hands are still kind of greasy when you go to pick up Didria, and he's like,
You don't like food. You wanna taste it up close.
So yeah, you march him through the kitchen and kind of sit him down. Okay, Didri, yes. Where were you? So where were you, Didri, during all this? And he's like, well, I was downstairs. Me and Rield were making sure that that no one came down through the stairs, and made sure that none of the civilians were fighting with each
You
other.
did a good job, didn't you? Right?
Roll intimidation.
17.
Oh.
Like, yes, I will admit we did a poor job of that.
What's your excuse for it? Aside from mysteriously falling asleep.
That's the only excuse I have, Walkman.
That doesn't seem to be...
Oh, man.
that doesn't seem to be a good one to me. Is it?
I mean, yes, I think it is. I think that if it's something that's out of your control, then it's not your fault.
Try convincing me that you didn't kill her.
Okay, yes. Well, I was always in my same spot, at the bottom of the stairs. So the only time I ever moved from that spot was when Rodan came to give me the wines, and I walked a couple of steps to hand them to Rield, who then handed them through the people, and then he handed the empty things back to me, and then I walked up to put them back on the bar, and then came back down.
So you actually went out. You walked up outside of the manhole of the basement.
Yes.
And how do you know that nobody else went in whilst you were changing the jars and all that stuff?
Well, because Rodan was there.
Yeah, but...
Well, I trust
And
Rodan.
so he was alone in that time frame.
What, Rield? Yes.
Alright. Can you trust him? All of them?
Uh,
Did anybody look suspicious to you at that time?
No.
Okay. Is he genuine? Can
Roll insight.
Natural 20. Wow.
He is lying.
Okay. So I just grab him by whatever. No, he's not. Yeah, you were instructed. So I just grab him by, like, from here. Just tell the truth, alright?
Would that have made a difference what you grabbed if you were still...
Yes! It would have been a direct kick. Like
I'm very sorry, Revel, to say it, because I know that, you know, teamwork is the most important thing, and Revel's like, oh, for goodness sake, just tell the man what he needs to know. And he's like, well, I've never really trusted Bets and Fijim very much. They are always very flirty with each other, and they get up to a lot of mischief, and this could be one of their pranks, and you know, Revel, that I do not agree with these types of shenanigans that happen in the town, and I am very to the book, and I make sure to count every single one of my steps and everything that I do. So I like things to be the way they are, and I don't like it when the things aren't the way they are. You understand that? And Revel's like, yes, no,
I don't.
do.
What do you mean? What's going on in this one?
I like to have everything very strict and proper. I am a soldier, I am a guard, I make sure that I am at the place on time, I count all of my steps, I look in every single corner, I do things the right way. I don't like Fijim and Bets because they're always looking at each other and making googly eyes, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. And the way that Fijim is always using his time to flirt with the young women of the town and drinking, and if you're a guard, you should be representing the town, and he and her do not represent the town.
What do you think of Bets?
She is a slut.
Why would you say so? Have you ever tried having an affair with her?
No,
Have you ever tried having an affair with her?
I roll persuasion.
14.
He has not.
Okay.
No, I told
Then
you.
why would you call her a slut?
She is with many people, and she uses her ways to try and get more money and things out of people. And Revel goes, yeah, she's even tried it on with me once to try and get more money. It's just yeah. But I wouldn't go as far to say it's a slut, but you know, he's pretty upset. She's like, yes, I'm sorry, I did not, I apologise for my swear word, I do not like to do that, but you asked my genuine opinion and I gave it.
So I turn to Revel and I say, I think you might as well talk to Beth directly. And maybe you need another woman with you in the room.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I turn to him and I'm like, I'm done with you.
And he kind of gets up himself. He's like, thank you very much for not exposing me like Fijim. And he kind of like walks out and he says, did you want me to get Bets for you, or did you want to go and get her?
You can get Beth and get the Lady Warlock, Talisa, I think she's called.
Okay, yes. So he comes out and he kind of signals to you and he says, yes, Revel would like you to get a Bets, please.
Okay.
And he goes to kind of sit back down.
So I'm still there, right? I'm still there with Revel.
I say to Beth, I said, it's your turn. And I pretend to call Marv instead of myself. And say, Marv, I think you should go there because it's your turn.
Is
so,
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I wait for her to go towards the room so that she doesn't see me. And I use but Mask of Many Faces to turn myself into the king's fiancé.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I saw her, right? I can do that. Yeah.
That
Okay.
is an interesting turn of events.
I was in distraction.
So I turn myself into her.
Okay.
And I slowly go towards the room, but I wait to hear that the interrogation started, so that's,
Sure.
And I slowly then come inside, looking straight into the eyes of Beth.
So Revel kind of looks at you and is like, oh, you're alive!
What? Why just called? What are you doing here?
Me? I don't know.
And who?
You're not there, Marv, don't worry.
She called me,
Oh, yes, you are there, because
Yeah.
you got called
Yeah,
in as well.
but I'm visibly confused because I didn't think it was my go to talk to someone.
What's what?
And I stare at Beth saying, what happened?
Bets is like, oh, I'm really glad that you're alive.
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I am. What happened? I mean, can you explain to everyone what happened? I'm trying to kind of like push her.
Okay, roll persuasion.
Okay. 14.
She's like, of course, Your Majesty. I mean, yes. So I was stood by the front door with Fijim, and the only time that I moved was well, no, actually, I didn't move.
So, why did we fall asleep? Why you?
Well, we had a second round of wine, and we all sat around in a table to, for the king. And yeah, after my wine, I felt a little bit sleepy. I remember handing out a glass of water to Gref, and then going to sit near him, in between him and Fijim, and had a glass of wine, and then started to feel sleepy.
Do you usually drink when you are at work?
Yes.
Good question.
Does she look?
Roll insight.
Let's see. Natural 20.
Yeah, she's telling the truth. Yeah, I mean, Revel, because we are her guards, we get free drinks here, on shift or off shift, and I like to partake. It's usually Fijim's usually like, come on, let's have a drink.
So, who do you think made this entire mess?
Well, it's clearly Rodin. I mean, he's the only elf here, and it's obviously him. I mean, why any humans would want the king dead, I don't know.
Why would an elf want the king dead?
Well, I mean...
Why would you think that an elf would want the king dead?
Well, I mean, there are so many.
Are you implying a different race would behave wrongly with you humans? And I guess...
Roll intimidation.
13.
Well, yes. I mean, we live near a drow camp. I mean, it's not unnatural for elves to be trying to kill us all the time. You have to understand the position that I'm in. That an elf just turns up a couple of years ago, like, all buddied up to Revel, and then, you know, this sort of thing happens. It's not, you know, I'm just doing what I think.
Did anything happen throughout these 2 years?
Well, no, but he keeps himself to himself, and, you know, I always wonder, like, you know, where he goes and what he's doing.
Why don't you even mind your own business?
Because my father was killed by drows. I'm allowed to be worried about my comrades and my town.
He's a
being
guard,
attacked.
he's working with you.
Yes.
He was chosen by somebody who was here with Rebel,
Yes.
and she hired him.
Yes.
Why do you even question this thing?
Well,
Who are you to question it?
Well, Revel
And I just look towards Rebel and I'm like,
you know, Revel's kind of like, kind of more like looking at you, being like, you know, what's going on? You know, and she's like, yes, of course, I trust Revel completely, but at the same time, doesn't mean that I trust the elf.
I'm just going to leave the room at this point because I'm really visibly confused about that, so I'm going to
And
go
you
to
know,
the...
I cough and I turn into myself,
Oh!
and I'm like,
I turn around.
I'm really, really bored.
Mm.
Can we just... So, okay, what about your friend, the other guard, the other female guard?
Yes, well, I mean, she was sat kind of opposite where, you know, Gref was, and she never got up from her chair at all. People just brought her over wine. I mean, she's like that. She's very, you know, oh, bring me things.
Bring me things? Like...
Yeah, you know, she's a lazy guard. You know, she's the sort of person that will only get up in extreme danger.
Okay.
Oh, we can
Okay.
discount her.
I tried my best. I'm just gonna check on them because we left all of them alone. Maybe it's...
Oh.
We should...
I just called for you, I don't know what went on in this strategy.
Well,
Me
I
neither.
tried.
Oh yeah,
I
you did.
tried.
You sure did.
I'm going to leave again and keep an eye on the other guards sat outside.
Sure.
Okay, so we're both going...
We're both going.
Okay, so when you go into the room, you see that Fijim has actually pinned Rodan to his chair.
Oh.
He's like, I know it's you! I know it's you, you filthy elf!
Whoa, 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 whoa. Right, let's all just take a deep breath right now. We are in the middle of professional interrogations and we will not have you acting like mobsters. Okay? Just split
Roll
up.
persuasion.
Oof, 27.
And he's like, sorry, mate.
It's alright, it's alright. Let's
Sits
let's
back
be-
down, but he's kind of like,
I want to fight.
kind of just staring down Rodan.
Can I send like a mental message, kind of always with the purpose of kind of like scaring and putting like psychological pressure on Rodan, like...
Oh, is in like the message spell?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a cantrip, and I would be like, what have you done?
What have you done?
And he can answer you, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
He says, I've done nothing, my goddess.
Oh my god!
Oh!
But he doesn't know it's you.
Ah.
So he thinks that his goddess is talking to him.
Ah, okay.
Oh, he's
okay.
a believer.
And I'm like a bit strange because he called me goddess, and I'm like, you know, you can talk to me. You can talk to me.
Yes, I do. I do not. I do not know what to do when these beings keep trying to attack me for being an elf. Is my purpose still to be here, my goddess?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I will. I will keep going to my special tree to pray harder.
But this situation needs justice.
Okay.
Who do you think was the one?
You're the goddess, you're supposed to know.
I'm, you know.
I'm testing you.
I think it might have
so many different names. I didn't want to say different names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't be a good murder mystery if not.
Can I? Is it obvious where the wine is? Like where the wine barrels were?
Yes.
Can I
Yeah,
go
we
to
actually
that
didn't
room?
check that.
Yeah. Can I go to that room whilst they're in that? Can I just go on my own to wherever these barrels are?
Oh, it's just behind the bar.
It's behind the bar, right? So can I investigate them for any evidence that they've been tampered with in any particular way?
Yeah. Investigation check.
Investigation. 19.
Okay. Yeah. You can't see anything.
Nothing. No tampering.
No.
How many barrels are there? Like a
It's
couple?
about 3.
About 3. Okay.
I guess are we walking out with Rebel or are we just staying there for?
Well, Rebel's just kind of sat in there, but she kind of comes out at this point and is like, Rill's next. Rill kind of stands. Yes. Of course. And kind of starts walking towards and sits down. Says, well, I can tell you what I know. From my perspective, I was down there with Didrir and he would hand me the carafes of wine and I handed them out among the patrons in this place. I know that the lady wanted more wine. The fiancée woman wanted more wine, and I know that the king didn't want any wine. Said he wanted to keep his senses sharp, and so I gave him water instead.
That doesn't add up. I'm still there, right, within the interrogation room. You don't leave.
Oh, are we all, or just him?
No, you both have gone in there, so it's up to you whether you want to be in there as well or you want to stay in.
No, I'm just gonna stay there.
Okay.
We know that the king drank. He said that he drank wine. So what are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he did, but I gave him water.
Where did you take the water from?
Oh, just my own water skin.
Do you know who gave the king's fiancée wine?
No, I did.
You did.
Who else?
Did you give it to her in the basement area?
I did, yes.
And were any guards stationed in the basement with the king during the battle, or were you all stationed in the
No,
the
it
main
was
tavern?
just me and Didrir were in the basement.
Did the king have any wine?
Not from me, but yes, he had some wine.
Did you ever leave that room?
No.
At any point?
No, I did not.
So whatever. Did every guard have some wine?
I don't know. I was downstairs. I had some
Did
wine.
you notice any suspicions between all the other patrons and the people who were there with you, along with the king and his fiancée?
Well, yes. I mean, they don't really trust the king and his fiancée. They kind of kept to separate areas, but the king and his fiancée were actually quite kind and nice, and they were telling stories to each other, and it seemed like they were starting to get on after the first glass of wine, but it always seems to happen. You give anybody alcohol and they seem to be liven up and loosen up a bit more. I think that's obviously why Fijim wanted them to drink more, make sure that everyone was having a good time.
And it was just you and Fijim in the basement?
No, me and Didrir.
You and Didrik. Well, all we know is that the only person who died, probably as a result of the wine, is her, and everyone else only fell asleep, which means it can't have been the carafes that were poisoned, because otherwise everyone would be dead. So someone who had access to a single glass of wine for her was able to poison it.
Well, I mean, you're more than welcome to check over my body, make sure that there's no marks or anything suspicious.
Well, are there any marks on you?
You'd have to roll medicine.
Oh, 4.
See, you know, there's nothing on me that would suggest anything strange. You check.
Strip. We stripped everybody else, so you might as well do it yourself as well.
Roll persuasion.
It's a natural one.
Oh.
He's like,
Revel, can you tell him?
Ronald's like, he is correct, Rold. You know, it's probably better if you strip. It's like, okay, fine. So he kind of strips, and you see he's a lot thinner than everybody else.
Anything weird aside from the actual shape of the body and everything, or?
No, he just seems to be thinner than everyone else. And Revel's like, gosh, I didn't know you were that thin, Rild. I mean, we better get you on some further duty. And he's like, oh, no, I've always been like this. I just really struggle to put weight on.
Why is that? Do you have a bad diet?
No, I've always been like this.
How long have you been doing the guard for then?
Oh gosh, I don't know. About 4 years, I suppose. Revel's like, yeah, coming up to about 4.5, I suppose.
Does anyone in the guard have any previous experience with alchemy?
Alchemy? Maybe Rodan. I mean, I know he's an elf, so maybe he might have brought something like that with him. But honestly, no offense, Revel, but they're not the brightest of bunch. I wouldn't imagine they would be particularly good with it. I mean, I know that elves are particularly good with poisons and survivalism and tribalism, that sort of thing. Revel's like, you know a lot about those elves, don't you, Rild? It's like, oh yes, you know, I make sure to know who my enemies are.
So there seems to be some racism around you people. Can you please elaborate more on why everybody's... and I'm telling you everybody because there seems to be a common trait between pointing fingers towards different beings around here.
Well, I mean, no offense to you, obviously, and
I am taking it.
And to all of you, but you know, we have a lot of monsters around here, and you know, the drow sometimes have attacked in the past, and I know that people are very mistrusting of the elves.
The monsters have just saved your asses.
Don't consider orcs to be monsters.
Well, he's an elf, or so it looks like, and he just saved your asses as well.
I mean, you know, you wouldn't be able to tell an elf apart from the ears, right? So I didn't know.
but now you're talking shit about your other colleague, so why would you even behave like that?
Well, you know, I know people don't trust the elves, and it's good for me to also believe that way.
Oh, and the other ones weren't the smartest one, whereas you are.
Oh.
You are really mature, aren't you?
I don't think maturity has anything to do with it. You wanted me to tell you the truth.
Why refer to one of your own colleagues as an enemy? Saying that you want to learn your enemy as if all elves are your enemy, including your colleague, who happens to be an elf.
This place gets attacked by them quite a bit.
Does that make your elvish colleague an enemy?
It's always good to know, just in case he is.
So you don't trust him at all?
No.
You were quite quick to point out that he's the only one with alchemical experience.
I didn't say that he had alchemical experience. I said that there's a possibility that he might.
Okay. I'm going to leave and talk to Rodan again. I'm going to take him into a separate sort of booth in Sable.
I think I'm done with him. I don't know what else to ask him. I'm just pissed at his own racial slur and all of that thing he's talking about.
Yes, well, thank you for not taking up too much of my time.
Excuse me? Cheeky. Come in again?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that it would never be me.
I slap him in the face. Like,
Okay, that's it.
15.
Okay, yeah, you hit him, yeah. So could you roll...
Never say that again.
Could you roll perception, please?
Yeah, 13.
Okay, so as you slap him, you're able to notice that he has some marks on his ears and by the side of his face.
Hold on a minute. What do you have there?
What?
Here on your ears, on your face. Why are you covering that?
And I'm no
I
reason.
just grab him. I just grab him at that point. What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything though. You know,
What is that?
scars are. You know, you're a warrior. You know what scars are.
I know scars exactly, and that's not a scar, is it?
Well, it is.
From what then? Where did you get that?
Well, someone kind of, cut me around the face.
Someone. I'm a warrior, and I do remember who actually made scars on me. So yeah, you better come up with a better excuse.
It's not an excuse.
You better come up with a better excuse.
Okay, roll intimidation.
13.
Look, I don't expect you to understand.
Oh, we got a race.
So I just take him and I just bash him on the wall.
You roll to hit.
Interrogation.
21.
Okay, so you slam him against the wall.
Oh.
You better tell the truth.
Roll intimidation.
17.
Okay, he says, well, it's not going to matter very soon.
Oh.
What do you mean with that?
Nothing at all.
And I just push again, harder on the wall.
Just
Shall I
get
roll
crushed.
again?
Do we hear any noise?
Yeah, you can hear
Okay.
bashing.
Okay.
I just go
So that's 20.
in the room.
Not
He
natural. but-
bashes again. Can you roll damage, please?
Radon, hold that thought.
Is it like it's an unarmed strike, so it's 4 damage?
What's going on?
What's happening in there?
He is hiding something. He has marks on his ears, and he's laughing at me while saying that this will never matter. This will not matter in a while. He's getting mysterious, and he fucking laughs at me.
Put him down.
Put him down. Did you see him?
And she kind of goes to touch you very lovingly on the arm. For me, put him down.
Oh.
I'm gonna just leave it there.
You're not even worth it.
And she's like, any of you know bodies? I'm not very good with bodies.
In what way?
I got one.
But do any of you know anything about bodies?
Bodies of like what do you mean about bodies? Like bodies of bodies.
As in, do we have a good understanding of anatomy?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
well,
I
not
don't
really.
think so.
Not.
It's basically what she's asking you is who's best at medicine.
Yeah.
Oh
I've got a
no,
low
I
one.
am 0.
+1.
Okay. 0. Then it's going to
Oh.
be you then.
Me then. Okay. Well, have a look.
He just fucking laughed at me
I know, he sounds like
in a nasty way.
sounds like a bit of a psycho.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
So sensitive, this guy.
Let's have a look. 7. I'm a medicine man.
Hey.
Marvelous.
You're not really able to see anything. She's like, well, hang on, let me give it a go. She's like, oh, I don't know either. Could you guys?
Rebel,
check
did
his
you just
body?
see how he behaved?
I know.
I'm
but-
not getting mad, am I?
No, you're not mad. I just want to make sure that I know what this weird thing around the ear is.
12.
Okay, yeah. So you can tell that that there has been some skin removal.
Can I touch it?
And he's just there like, yeah, go on.
He's like, stop touching there.
Why are you so sensitive about that?
It's fine. Please continue to touch my scars, you strange woman. Rebel's like, alright, I think this is getting better hand here. And she's sort of looking at you three and is like,
So, no, wait. You have been working with this person for how many years? For how long have you...
well, about 4.5 years.
And you have never noticed anything like that?
I don't go up checking the ears.
But it looks weird. Like, it's clearly...
Yeah, but, have you seen these people? If I stopped picking weird people, I'd have no guards.
Good answer.
Guys, he has something on his ear. They look very weird, like as if someone removed some part of the skin. It's disgusting. I mean, it's just...
So what about you tell us more about what's going on here? Or else you could end up on the wall again, and maybe I can take some of that skin off with my hands. What
Okay,
about that?
roll intimidation.
14.
Okay, he's like, I told you, soon me being here in my skin will not matter.
What do you mean with that?
What I mean by that?
You tell me.
Well, I mean, I know that I am innocent, therefore you can bash me against the wall as much as you like, and I will still be innocent.
Do we really want to believe him?
No, I don't like him, but I guess that if we will stay with him here for, I don't know, we could stay here forever because he's not gonna say anything to us.
So we're gonna let him be.
No, I'm not saying that. Maybe we can check because we still have other people to interrogate and then we can go back to him. Or we could put him downstairs with the body for the meantime, just that he doesn't speak with anyone else.
Well, what do you think?
So, very beautiful woman, the fiance of the king, eh? Broad's like, yeah, yes, you know, she's fine. It's like, get the king.
Oh, not the king again. Oh,
I guess you're his friend, right?
friend? I just met him. Like,
Yeah, but
Have you told him about your battlefield experience yet?
no.
Oh.
I've been hearing about, and I mean, I've seen you very close and you ate food while I was just standing there looking at fucking guards and you were eating, so. Yeah.
Well, you.
Guys, get the king!
Okay, I'm going. I go to the king and say, hey, can you come 1 second? I will give you more food after that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Perfect, let's go.
Okay. So he sort of walks in like barbecue sauce around his face. He's like,
he's
you're right, and Revel's like, oh gosh, get a cloth, man. And he kind of wipes it on the side of Revel's top.
Oh!
looking a bit rotund.
Okay. And she's like, please, your majesty, come sit down opposite. And he's like, oh gosh, that man is bloodied. Yes, and so how much did you drink, king? She's like, now or no, just before everything happened. Well, I had a couple of drinks of wine. This gentleman gave me some wine. Oh, did he now? Rilled? I told you I did not give wine to the king. The king must have gotten it from elsewhere. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure that you gave me the wine. Yeah, you oh yeah, that was it. You were like, no, I'm not going to give you wine, and then my fiance was like, oh yeah, I recognise you. You look very familiar, and yeah, and then you were like, here, have some wine, king.
Sounds like the wrong person drunk the wine. What have you got to say for yourself?
World's like,
Give it up, man. We can see right through you.
seeing as it will not matter anyway. And he sort of looks towards the window, kind of in this little basement area, and is like, So, yes, I did kill her. And I knew it.
You got him.
It wasn't my plan, in all honesty. I was going to go for the king, and she happened to realise that I was an elf, and I couldn't have that. So, when everybody was asleep, I made sure she would not wake.
Why? Why did you do all of this mess, honestly?
Why shouldn't we know then?
Well, it doesn't matter now.
Are you afraid of something?
Not anymore.
You would tell us if you weren't afraid, would you?
You can do whatever it is that you wish with me now, but I don't feel like speaking anymore.
Were you trying to kill the king? Or were you never targeting the king?
Revel, say something, please. This is the same person you said you knew, and look at what happened.
He was an elf and he cut his ears off.
And you didn't realize anything. Come on, girl. Like, do you have... I don't know.
Revel's like, are you sure you want to talk to me like that, little girl?
Should I be scared?
I'm just looking at her.
Roll, just a charisma roll, please.
Okay. 19.
She rolled a natural 20.
Oh, shit!
So you are scared.
Okay.
He says, I accept my guilt. You may take me outside to do what it is that you do with the guilty people. And Revel says, I guess that's that then. So, she's like, Orgorod, can you help me take him out?
No, I want to know more first. What do you do with guilty people around here?
He's obviously expecting some sort of reinforcement. He looked at the window.
We drown them in the swamps.
But if we kill him, we'll never know why.
Well, he wanted to kill the king, obviously.
Well,
He said that.
But then he said he wanted to put her to sleep because she knew he was an elf.
Yeah, well,
So which one was it? Was he trying to target the king? Both?
I don't know, but he said he's not going to say anymore.
So you might as well kill him. I mean, I'm not the best one to talk about these things, but
he's given an admission of guilt.
But
don't
I
you-
can say that I've killed the king, but you don't have any actual proof.
He might be covering
And
someone
everyone
else.
was sleeping anyway, so... And they have named themselves. They did... I mean, from my point of view, it could be anyone, honestly.
It doesn't have to be one person. There could be more than one person working on this together.
maybe he's trying to cover for somebody else.
Maybe.
And why was he being racist about the elf if he himself is an elf?
Cover.
Stupid elves.
Excuse
You
me?
think that I would want to be put in the same category as a wood elf?
So what are you then?
I am a drow.
Oh.
And Revel just gets his face and slams it into the concrete.
Oh. And continues to do so.
and mashes his face into the floor and says,
Oh.
oops.
That's disgusting.
Oh.
I think you should do something about your selection process for the guards.
I think you're absolutely right, Orgorog.
Thank you.
I mean, I just watched a man melt in the battle, but that made me slightly kind of
Yeah,
throw up a little bit.
I immediately grabbed the king from his hands. Let's go to eat something. And I just...
And she's like, Orgorog, would you mind bringing his body? I better dispose of this.
Alright.
Did she smush his face in one go as well? It wasn't multiple times.
Can I loot him first and see if he has anything valuable?
Sure, yeah, roll the investigation.
14.
He does not.
Can I just ask Rebel, where was he stationed all these years that he's been on your guard?
Oh,
Where was his private quarters?
oh well, you know, they all live in the same house.
Yeah, does he have a trunk or a chest of his own?
Oh, but more than likely.
Would you mind if is there a key?
Yeah, sure. And she kind of goes behind the bars and she's like, well, this is a skeleton key.
Thanks. Do you mind if I go investigate?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can come with us.
We're going there together.
Well, no, we're just going to take the body out, so you can come out with us and...
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
So before we go out, I take out I basically gather you up and I get the letter that I got from the orc boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically read it to them, given that it's in Orcish. And I tell them that there was an order to kill the king, and it was signed by this T guy, whatever it is, guy, girl, whatever. So maybe it's connected, maybe there are drafts leading up orcs, maybe not. Maybe somebody else can speak and write Orcish.
Okay, actually.
Just leaving it
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
You know Orcish?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Why would you know?
Long story. I've been everywhere, and you know, being always alone requires to actually learn stuff to survive.
You can have little conversations together.
Nah.
Orcish.